Are we alone in the universe? Is there life beyond Earth? And if there is, then could the powers that be really be keeping it a secret? This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, is the government hiding non-human technology?
Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content.
Non-human technology. In the first half of 2023, it became the buzzword for alien hunters, UFO enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, for anyone with even an inkling that the government might be trying to cover something up. But why? And what has changed in UFO science to so dramatically accelerate our search for the truth in recent times? The latest push for disclosure arguably started with the efforts of one David Grush, an increasingly high-profile whistleblower who had previously worked within the US military and government. Among many senior positions held by Grush, he had been involved with the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, an investigative branch of the government, in short, set up to explore the credibility of UFO, or now UAP, sightings and reports. The American authorities have received more and more such reports in recent years, and so have been forced into channeling more time, money, and resources to them. And Grush had essentially been working at the very heart of all of that. Many believe then that his claims carry a great deal of weight and legitimacy. But what exactly has he said? Grush first went public with what he alleged to know in an explosive June 2023 article for The Debrief, written and researched by the noted and respected UFO journalists Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal. In the article, and in various subsequent interviews, Grush insisted that, contrary to what they'd have you believe, the US government knows full well that there are aliens out there. It knows it because it has had continuous access to an untold amount of information and material since at least World War II. For example, Grush alleges that toward the end of World War II, a craft of non-human origin that had been previously uncovered by the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini was sent to and stored in the United States for further study during the post-war years. It suggested that multiple intelligence agencies were involved here, and even that the Vatican had had a hand in what happened. Although it's unclear what ultimately came of the craft in question in this particular case. Clearly, a lot of time has passed in the decades since the late 1940s. Knowledge has grown, developments have unfolded, and opinions have evolved. But Grush, again in the debrief article and in interviews afterwards, reckons that not much has changed in terms of the deep-rooted secrecy at the heart of official UFO study. Claiming to have heard firsthand from various, mostly unnamed sources within the government or close to, Grush has suggested that the US has long run dedicated initiatives to find and recover things like crashed UFOs, bits broken off of passing UFOs, and even dead UFO pilots. There are then suggestions that most of this is entirely unknown because actually, even most of the government is unaware. Grush has insinuated that there are multiple figures or groups on the inside that have consistently and deliberately withheld key information or evidence from various flagpole UFO research groups. So if the claims are true, it could yet be that while some in the government are hiding proof of what's out there, many are just as in the dark as the rest of the watching public. The information has simply never been let out. This is by no means the first time that such allegations have been laid at the door of Washington. Perhaps the most infamous and long-lasting UFO claimant against the US government is Bob Lazar. In a story that Lazar has defiantly stood by for upwards of 30 years, he alleges that he worked on top-secret government projects in the early 1980s. And as part of that work, Lazar claims to have been tasked with reverse engineering alien tech. Specifically, he says that he saw anti-gravity technology, the likes of which wasn't just unknown at the time, but was seemingly impossible as per the human understanding of the laws of nature and physics. While the testimonies of Lazar and David Grush have yet to explicitly cross over, the kinds of things that Lazar has always insisted he saw and did are quite similar to those that Grush now seems intent to reveal. It's no wonder then that Grush's emergence has garnered interest and excitement. Are we now on the brink of full disclosure? And will that finally reveal that aliens do exist? What do you think could happen in the coming weeks, months, or years? It's certainly all eyes on any official government activity or statement. And there have been some intriguing developments here as well. A little more than a year prior to David Grush and the debrief, the Pentagon seemingly bowed to growing public pressure by publishing a preliminary assessment on UAP, a short but sweet 9-page document that outlined 144 cases, 143 of which it described as remaining unexplained. For many, it was something of an anticlimax. Unclassified, yes, but inconclusive, definitely. However, the official story has since been built on quite significantly, with the release of the 2022 Annual Report on Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. Here, the authorities ran us through 510 officially registered UAP cases in total. This included the 144 discussed before, plus 366 new ones. The annual report was longer than its preliminary forerunner, but only just. An 11-page document, it was mostly dedicated to outlining new and improved methods and procedures for collecting UAP data and cataloging it. For example, it said that more than half of the 366 new cases could be labeled as unremarkable, 163 characterized as balloon or balloon-like entities, 26 characterized as unmanned aircraft systems or UAS-like entities, and 6 attributed to clutter. There was no direct mention of alien spaceships, alien pilots, crashed UFOs, etc. The report did concede, though, that any UAP might pose a threat as either, quite, flight hazards or as potential adversary collection platforms. So far, as per the still limited information that the U.S. authorities have made public, the establishment of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or the AARO, is billed as a key development. It's said to be a wide-reaching arm with scope enough to properly coordinate UAP reports and research, linking up all or most other defense and security government branches. Interestingly, though, the AARO is a successor to the UAP task force that had existed beforehand, the same task force that David Grush had worked closely with. Could the restructuring, then, be another attempt to squirrel away information in line with what Grush has claimed? Or is it genuinely a revised and more effective effort to get to the bottom of UAP once and for all? Let us know what you think in the comments. In the aftermath of Grush's various claims, the Department of Defense and NASA both released statements, and perhaps unsurprisingly, neither supported the whistleblower. The DoD said, quote, "To date, AARO has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of any extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently," end quote. NASA said that it, quote, "has not found any credible evidence of extraterrestrial life, and there is no evidence that UAPs are extraterrestrial," end quote. That said, there are some major investigations ongoing, including a reportedly independent initiative looking into UAP, set up by NASA itself. So what should we make of all the more recent news stories, allegations, reports, and debates? Certainly the conversation has been moved along a lot in just the last couple of years, with even the term UFO swiftly being replaced by the seemingly broader and arguably less taboo UAP. But the increasingly used qualifier non-human is a far thornier one, particularly for the government and official sources to entertain. While the claims made by David Grush might well be described as still quite vague and ambiguous, this turn of phrase means that no matter how often the authorities try to persuade otherwise, no matter that the government reports rarely, if ever, mention extraterrestrials specifically, the talk of aliens just isn't dying down. What's your verdict here? If the government were keeping something as massive as alien life a secret, then it would surely take a monumental effort to do that. So do you think it's possible? Or is even the notion of the state having any kind of wider knowledge or control just too far-fetched to believe?
What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.